Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video. Today we're looking at the Boundmotor Flash. This is a really awesome 2-in-1 all-terrain electric skateboard. For this video, I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna try to talk off the top of my head instead of reading from a script that I wrote. That's because, as you guys know, as you subscribers know, my videos have been taking a really long time to make, and I'm not publishing them fast enough. So for this one, I'm just gonna relax a little bit, make it easy for myself so I can get this out faster. And for future videos, maybe I'll do the same thing. I don't know, I'm getting kind of a deja vu feeling. I feel like I've said this before, I've attempted this before, and I went back to writing scripts. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's get on with the review of this board. We're gonna start with the skate components. So the deck. The deck is actually what got my attention for this board. Months ago, I said I was gonna do a DIY board. That was because the Hadean was announced, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna build an Evolve Hadean killer for less than the price of an Evolve Hadean. That was the original plan anyway, and so I was looking for a deck. I wanted a carbon fiber unibody type of deck, and I came across the Boundmotor Flash, and I was like, whoa, that's a really good looking deck. That's like a really good looking deck. And I got in touch with Boundmotor, and they were like, you know, how about we just send you a board to review? And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that works. So yeah, that's how I got. But anyway, yeah, the DIY board, I decided not to do it. Or, I mean, I'll probably do one at some point, but it's not gonna be an Evolve Hadean killer, simply because there's like a bunch of boards now that are cheaper than a Hadean, that outspec the Hadean and cost way less than a Hadean. Like the Boundmotor Flash, this is $1,000 less than the Evolve Hadean Carbon. So it's kind of pointless for me to do a DIY board. But anyway, back to the review of this board. See, this is why I write scripts, because otherwise I'm just gonna ramble about stupid stuff. But yeah, this deck is really good looking. I measured it. It's 100 centimeters long and 26.5 centimeters at its widest point. By the way, in this video, okay, sorry, I'm getting off track again. In this video, there's probably gonna be a lot of stuff that I forget to cover, and for that stuff, I'm just gonna put that info on the screen as text. It's also possible that I'm gonna talk about way too much stuff and this ends up being a really long video. I have no idea how this is gonna turn out yet. I guess we'll see what happens. So the size of this deck, it's about the same as any other 2-in-1 all-terrain board, so nothing special about the size. The carbon fiber, the look of it, so they offer two options, right? There's the normal carbon fiber look, and then there's the forged carbon fiber look. It's still carbon fiber, like it's still normal carbon fiber. It's just they just got that forged pattern over it. But it's really good looking. I think my video probably doesn't do it justice. In person, it looks a lot nicer because like when you shine a light on it, depending on the angle of the light, the pattern kind of, how do you say it? Like it looks like the pattern's moving. You know, it's like it's really pretty. I don't know how to describe it. It's just really pretty in person. Unfortunately, I scratched it up really quick, but that's just what happens on skateboards. They get scratched up, but it doesn't look bad with the scratches. All right, the scratches, they add character. All right, this is my unique pattern on this board or something. Anyway, let's move on. So there is something I don't like about this deck, and it's that the grip tape doesn't cover the edges and also the drop areas. The grip tape only covers the battery compartment cover. So when I was writing this board, it did feel, it wasn't exactly that I was gonna fall off the board, but like I didn't feel as confident when making hard turns and stuff. So what I ended up doing was I had some leftover grip tape. I just put that on. I did kind of I didn't try to do it very cleanly or anything. It looks kind of ugly, but it works. And again, it adds character. All right, my board has character. Yours doesn't. Let's move on. The trucks. Oh, no, I'm not done with the deck yet. Okay, so this deck, obviously they kind of got, how should we put this? They got influenced by the Metroboard X. It doesn't look exactly like the Metroboard X, but it certainly, you look at this board, you certainly think of the Metroboard X. Those anodized red anti-sync plates, they're in a similar style to the Metroboard X, especially with the power button on top and the battery indicator and the charge port. All of those are on top. So some of you are gonna be like, oh, they copied, so that's bad. But you know, yeah, I see your point. All right. But on the other hand, they're copying good features. It's like the good stuff should be copied. You know, it's kind of like, what's the saying? Stand on the shoulders of giants or something. But yeah, having the battery display there and the power button there and the charge port, all of that stuff on top, that's really great. I do kind of wish that the battery indicator was flipped around, because right now, if I'm standing on the board and I look back at the battery indicator, it's upside down. So I kind of wish it were the other way, but it's not a big deal. The power button, it being on top, it is much better than being on the bottom. But this board doesn't have a standby mode or a smart turn on or anything like that. So that kind of sucks. But power button being on top makes it not suck as much. But anyway, all in all, the deck, very nice looking deck. The shape of it, nothing particularly special. But yeah, it's a fine deck, basically. Let's move on. The trucks. If I say a lot about the trucks, some people are gonna complain, yo, why are you always complaining about double kingpin trucks? You just need practice. Yeah, look, we might as well put penny board trucks on our boards, right? Because we just need practice, right? All you need to do is practice and then any truck is fine. Anyway, look, double kingpin trucks, these are probably one of my least favorite types of trucks, but they're fine. They're all right. You just need to take some time with the bushings. Once you figured out a nice setup for double kingpin trucks that works well for you, then for other double kingpin trucks, it's like really easy to set up. So I finally figured it out. Well, I didn't really figure it out. Dino figured it out for me. But yeah, so I'm using, actually I have another video about it. If you want to learn more about that, you can look at that video. I'm not going to spend time on it here. But even then, like, I'm not really a big fan of these trucks. It's not that they don't work well. It's just that I think there are better solutions. But on the other hand, now that my bushing setup works really well for me, I don't really have as much to complain about these trucks. They're not the best. Are they the worst? Depends. I mean, they're fine. They're the same trucks that most other 2-in-1 all-terrain boards use. All right, let's just put it that way. They're not better or worse than most other double kingpin trucks for electric skateboards. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Okay, the wheels. So the wheels on my board are the 150mm pneumatic tires. On Boundmotor's website, I think they give you several options. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, you can choose 150, which is 6-inch, or the 175, which is 7-inch. And they also give you some options for airless wheels, like cloud wheels in 120mm, and also the 105 honeycomb, those rubber wheels. So which wheels should you choose? Well, I think if you need a more comfortable ride, choose the pneumatic wheels. If you like being closer to the ground and feeling the ground more, then choose the cloud wheels or the rubber wheels, whichever. So the airless wheels, they're not going to be as comfortable, but they're a little bit more nimble, I suppose. They're also smaller and they take up less space. And I don't know, there are pros and cons. I'm kind of fine with them either way. In the past, I kind of disliked pneumatic wheels. It's not that I disliked them. I prefer the urethane wheels in the past. But now after the CESL event, I was like, hey, these pneumatic tires, they're actually kind of beneficial. I mean, you can lean really hard and not worry about slipping out on asphalt anyway, on certain types of roads. But anyway, for pneumatic tires, as for which size you should get, me personally, I prefer the smaller size, the 150. The 175, I think that's overkill. Although, I mean, it depends on you. If you're gonna frequently be riding over very rough terrain, then the bigger size does help. It does feel better. They're more cumbersome. I prefer the smaller wheels. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the electronics. The battery is a 12S4P 19.2 amp hour Panasonic 21700 battery. Yeah, 21700 cells, 12S4P. I think these are the quote-unquote Tesla batteries. The specs are nice, but how do these companies get these Tesla batteries? I've seen them described as gray market batteries. The big e-state companies, they don't want the potential liabilities from using these cells. But if you're not worried about that, then I think these cells are fine. Man, I wish they put the watt hours on the website. I'm gonna have to calculate it. 43.2 multiplied by 19.2. Is that right? 829 watt hours. Okay, so that's why I didn't finish my range test. Yeah, I'll talk about the range in a little bit. Well, no, I'll talk about the range right now. So for the range, I got, I don't remember. I talked about it in video, so I'll just show you the video. Hey guys, I'm gonna call it quits. The board still has 33% power left. According to the Ride app, I've gone 34.3 kilometers so far. According to the remote, I've gone 34.81 kilometers. I'm ending it now because my knees are tired. It's partly because yesterday I went indoor snowboarding. Yeah, my legs, I don't think I can finish it, even though I only have 1/3 power left. But my legs are kind of shot. So I'll do some calculation and I'll put the number on the screen. I'm gonna calculate based on what it would go down to if I were to write down to 10% rather than 0%. I think 10% would be a better representation, maybe. Let's also take a look at my range estimator on my website, dkwan.com. So let's punch in some numbers. 820, no, what was it, 829? Yeah, 829, and my weight, I remember it was 77 kilograms. The weight of the board, let me measure it real quick. 13.5 kilograms. All right, I'm just gonna put 14 kilograms. The wheels, 150 millimeter pneumatics. How do you ride? It was I did the range test with a casual ride. What's the terrain like? I'm gonna put flat road. There were some minor slopes, but it was like very few. Weather was actually kind of cold. On my website, if I choose 21 to 30 degrees Celsius, then it estimates 48.8 kilometers. And if I choose 11 to 20, then it estimates 41.4. When I was riding, the temperature was it 18? Yeah, I think it was 18 degrees Celsius. So if my website had given me 18 degrees as an option, I guess it would have been in the mid-high 40s, 46-ish kilometers. Let's also see what the estimator says if I put urethane wheels. If I put 90 millimeter urethane, then I would get somewhere around 70 to 80 kilometers. Like I always say, many things can affect your range. Things like your weight, the way you're riding, inclines, temperature, traffic, road conditions, a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff can affect your range. How much you're accelerating, how much you're braking, all that stuff. So like, you guys really shouldn't treat range test results as like gospel. People always like to criticize one board or another or make these claims about range without taking into consideration the rider's weight, how they're riding and all that stuff. There's like so many things that can affect your range. But in my case, 77 kilograms, riding casually, so casually that's like 25 to 35 kilometers per hour, accelerating gently, not super gently, but like not super hard either, just like a normal ride, around 45, 46-ish kilometers. That's what I'm estimating. That's with the 150 millimeter pneumatic tires. The charger output is 4 amps, so 4 amps for a 19.2 amp hour battery. That's gonna take like 5 hours to charge this board from empty to full. So this charger is kind of slow. I mean, it's not slow. 4 amps is like, for most other boards, it's considered a fast charger. But for this board, because the amp hours is so high, 4 amps for the charger seems kind of low to me. Motors. The motors are 6368, 170 kV. So we've got a couple competing boards that are using 6374 motors. Does that mean these motors are weaker? Technically, I guess yes, but can you feel the difference? Probably not. Okay, so I'm not the most knowledgeable about this stuff, but my understanding is that these slightly smaller motors, they're gonna heat up more quickly. Once they heat up, they're gonna become less efficient than the larger motors. But to get them to heat up to the point where you're actually gonna feel a difference, you're gonna have to be like riding uphill for a long period of time, or you have to be a heavy person, or you have to be a heavy person riding uphill. That would be the ultimate stress test. In most cases, 6368 motors are gonna be fine. Don't worry about the 6374 motors being bigger. This size is fine. The previous generation boards, they're all using 6368, and this size is actually overkill for those boards. For this board, I think it's totally fine, like from my rides anyway. Let me just give you my personal opinion on why other boards are using 6374. Part of it is just so that they can say they're using larger motors, so that YouTubers like me can be like, hey, these motors are bigger, these are more powerful, But do you really need motors that big for this kind of board? Probably not. Some people, maybe. So 170 kV. Normally that means, like if you compare 170 kV with something like, say, I don't know what other boards are, like 150 kV, 170 kV, that should mean higher top speed, less torque. But man, this board has a lot of torque. This board is so torquey, so freaking fast. I guess I'll talk about the speed now. This board is really fast. It's so freaking fast. It's so fast. I can't use the high mode. The acceleration is too hard. This board does use a VESC-based ESC, so I can tweak that stuff if I want, but I really can't be bothered. But yeah, high mode is really fast. There are 3 speed modes: high, medium, and low. Every time you turn on the remote, it starts at high. I hope there's a way to change that. I'm not sure if there is a way to change that, but it's just like every time you turn on the remote, it defaults to high, and I always have to change it to medium. Even on medium, it's really strong. This board, it's just like, it's really strong, right? At least with the default settings, it's like super powerful. But medium is manageable for me. High, for me, for my weight, for the way I ride, it's a little too intense. For racing situations, I guess I would use high, but for like everyday use, for getting from point A to point B, it's a bit too much. It takes too much effort to control. Medium I can manage. Even the low mode is the low mode, well, between low and medium, I prefer medium. Brakes, okay, so they're really strong, and that's a good thing, but it's like they're always really strong. You can control it, all right? It's not like, no, I need to rephrase. You can brake gently if you want, but you have to be really gentle when pulling back on the control wheel. Or I just need to get used to it, because most of my other boards use Hobby Wing, and with Hobby Wing, it's kind of like you have to pull back pretty far to have the board brake hard. But on this board, the brakes are already really strong if you pull back the control wheel just halfway, and I don't like that much. I would prefer that I have to pull back farther, because sometimes, I don't know, maybe I just need to get used to it. But anyway, the brakes are really strong. But in high, medium, and low, as far as I can tell, the brakes are equally strong. So I kind of wish that they were different for each mode. I don't know if that's something that you can configure in VESC tool. Maybe somebody can tell me. But yeah, the brakes are really strong. Alright, let's talk a bit about the ESC and remote. So this ESC is based on VESC 6.0, and when I looked at it, it looks just like the, what's it called? Maker X? Yeah, the Maker X GoFoc DV6. It looks just like that. I wonder if they're the same thing. I should have asked Boundmotor before making this video, but yeah, I'll ask them, and then maybe I'll put the text on the screen or something. So with a VESC-based ESC, you can fine-tune the performance of the board and configure this and that. From your computer or from an Android phone. But for your computer, I think you need a Windows computer. So I have a Mac and I use an iPhone. So for me, I either have to borrow someone's computer or borrow someone's phone to tweak things. And as someone who doesn't have friends, no, I'm just kidding, I have friends, but like they live far. I don't have friends who live nearby who knows how to do this stuff. They all live kind of far away. So I'm just using this board as is, the way that it came. But because it's using a VESC-based ESC, there's a bunch of stuff that you can tweak. The remote is the Flipski VX2 remote. I think it's a pretty nice remote. I like how if you use it on your left hand or right hand, you can always see the display. It's using a control wheel like most e-skate remotes. The control of the board feels really smooth, really accurate, really predictable, or at least it does now. Okay, when I first received the board, there was a lot of lag on the acceleration. Like when I accelerate, there would be like up to a half-second lag, and that made the board really difficult to ride. And I told Boundmotor about it, and like I shot a video, I told them about it and showed them the lag, and they were like, okay, we're gonna send you a new remote with a new this little thingy that you have to plug into the ESC. I forgot what they called it. Some kind of module or something. But yeah, new remote, new module thingy. So I replaced those things and now it's fine. So if you're one of the early adopters, one of the first people who bought this board and you have this lag issue, like I don't know if this issue affected others also, but if you encounter this issue, you should probably get in touch with Boundmotor because it can be fixed. Okay, let's move on to the other stuff. So portability, how much did I say the weight was? 13.5? Yeah, 13.5 kilograms. So the weight is pretty much on par with other 2-in-1 all-terrain electric skateboards. Some are a little heavier, some are a little lighter. I guess this is a little bit more on the lighter side nowadays, especially considering it uses a 12S4P battery. So 13.5 kilograms, I think that's pretty decent. And that's with the all-terrain wheels, by the way, the 150mm pneumatic tires. Normally, when carrying this board, I just pull the front truck. There are times where the motor guard scrapes the ground. Like if I pull the front truck a little bit too high and the motor guard kind of scratches, but it's not a big deal. Sometimes I pull the other side and pull the motor guard instead, but that makes the board a little bit heavier, so I usually pull the other side. Yeah, portability, I don't have much to say about that. It's like the same as any other 2-in-1 all-terrain board. The appearance. I already talked about the appearance a little bit regarding the deck. The only thing I have to add is that I don't really like the logos and the placement of those logos. They just look kind of meh. Like the Flash logo, it just looks like the kind of artwork that you would see on a like in a supermarket, like on a bottle of detergent or something. I don't know, it just looks cheap. The Boundmotor logo in the middle, I like how it's shiny. You know, shiny things are nice. But I don't like how it's centered, but not exactly in the center. Like, here's the thing with things that are in the center. If it's a little bit off center, it's really noticeable. At least for people like me, people with like a bit of OCD when it comes to design. If you're gonna center something, you gotta center it. It has to be dead center. It can't be a little bit off to the left, a little bit off to the right. It's gotta be centered. Otherwise, just make it way off center, you know, because then it looks like it's purposely not at the center. I don't know, I know I'm making a big deal about small stuff, but overall, really nice looking board. The red on black, I know it looks kind of a bit too much like the Metro Board X, but whatever. They don't look exactly the same. They do look kind of similar, but it's still a good looking board. After sale, so shoot, I don't really know what to say about their after sale. Okay, I have to study their website and maybe ask them about it, and then I'll put the info on the screen. But yeah, off the top of my head, I know nothing about their after sale. Okay, who is this board for? It's using a VESC-based ESC, so obviously it's the people who would benefit the most from this board are going to be people who are familiar with VESC and know how to tune boards and stuff. In my case, like I said, I use an Apple computer, I use an iPhone. I don't have easy access to the VESC tool software, so I don't really benefit from that. But this is like the default settings, it's so powerful. This board, it's so powerful. It's so freaking powerful. All right, like the high mode, it's so fast. Like, I just gotta stress that. Saying that by itself doesn't really mean anything. How does it compare to, let's say, the Hurricane or the 4-wheel drive Atlas? It's really hard to say. Like, in the fastest speed modes, they're all really fast. It's really hard to say which one accelerates more quickly. I would have to compare them side by side. Perhaps I should do another hill test. Like, the best way to test this out would be to put a heavy person on the board and have them ride up an incline to put more stress on the board. That would be the best way to test this out, and I guess I'll do that at some point. But for someone like me, it doesn't matter to me which one's faster, which one accelerates more quickly. It really doesn't matter at all. The only time it might matter to me is if I'm riding up a hill, but I've ridden this board up a hill before. It's still really fast. So who is this board for? I guess it's for someone who wants a really powerful board, someone who wants to accelerate really fast, and also for someone heavy, because then you'll benefit from all that torque. Or if you live on hills. Well, anyway, the point is, if you want a really powerful board, this is a really powerful board. Good looking, powerful board. Final thoughts. I wish it had smart turn on or standby mode or something where I didn't have to push a button. The fact that the button is on top, it's much better than having a button at the bottom where you have to search for it. But still, smart turn on, some kind of smart turn on is still better. Like I said about the remote, every time you turn on the remote, it's on high mode, but I don't ride in the high mode. It's overkill for me. So every time I turn on the remote, I have to switch it down to medium. The brakes, I kind of wish were tuned a little bit differently. I mean, I guess this is stuff that I can go in and tune myself, but like I said, I don't have easy access to VESC tool. But I guess it's one of those things where once you tune it properly, you don't really have to do it again. I do really like this board. It's really, oh yeah, the other thing, like the grip tape. I had to add some grip tape to the edges. I kind of wish that the board came with grip tape along the edges so that they look nicer than how I put them on. But still, those are all like minor issues or like issues that I could fix on my own. So not a big deal. I do really like the board. It's freaking really long range. So it's kind of like what I said about the Meepo Hurricane. This is going to be one of those boards that I can take with me on a hill and pull people up the hill. Yeah, man, what else can I say? Lots of great options for boards right now. Lots of some of you are gonna cringe at this, but lots of Evolve Hadean killers out there nowadays, and this is one of them. I guess I just gotta find out about the after sale, and then yeah, I hope I put the info on the screen, and then you can decide how you feel about that. But otherwise, yeah, really nice board. Oh, discount code. The discount code is Kwan, DKWAN. Let me know what you think about this video. Was I kind of rambling too much? Do you prefer that I write a script? But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. If I take time to write a script, it takes me longer to make a video. So take that into consideration also. But yeah, I do want to know how you guys feel about this format. This is easier for me, but no matter how you think, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button, whatever. But if you don't dislike this video, hit the like button. Helps me out. Thank you very much. All right, peace.